Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoint and welcome back to another video. So over the last couple of weeks I've been uploading loads of footage for both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and a lot of you keep asking the same question: which is better, or which one do I prefer? So that's what I'm going to do today. Now this doesn't mean one is better than the other, it's not a console war, this is just which one that I prefer overall, or which one I would keep if I needed to sell the other. So hopefully if you're not sure which one to get, this might be of interest to you. Okay, so first up, the look and the design of the two consoles. After all, it's probably going to be sat under your TV or it's going to be on your desk, so you might be interested in what it actually looks like. So the Xbox is a small black box. It's pretty minimal looking, to be honest. It's not offensive and it will fit almost anywhere in your house. I mean, you could lay it down, you could stand it up. Either way, it just looks like a small speaker or a small sub. So here I've got it on my shelf. And I guess if you walked into my room, if you weren't into gaming, you would have no idea what this box was. It's quite inoffensive. It means that I can have a console on display, on show on my shelving, without it looking like a console. And even in standby mode, there are no lights on it at all. It's literally just a black box. And I do really like the look of this. And then there's the PS5, which, let's be honest, is not minimal and it's not small. It does look next gen, so if you want a console that looks futuristic and it looks next gen, then this is great. But there's no hiding this away on a shelf or under your TV unit without people noticing it. And as the memes would suggest, it does look like a router or an old skybox. But it doesn't matter where you put it, it's pretty obvious what it is. So you can obviously stand it up or lay it flat, whichever option that you choose, you need to use the stand that's been included. But I do love the lights on the front of this, so whether it's in standby or in use, the lights on the front will change from orange to blue to white, which matches the controller. But yeah, so I do like the look of this console. It's obviously in your face, a lot more so than the Xbox is. So if you want a console that looks next gen, it's got to be the PS5. But if you're concerned about the looks, the style, the size, it's got to be the Xbox. I mean, that will fit in anywhere in your house. So next up, the controllers. So the Xbox controller, first of all, this has had a slight tweak to the previous gen, so it's probably 90% the same as the Xbox One controller that we're used to, but that's not a bad thing. I really liked the Xbox One controller. So they've added some extra grip to the buttons and the triggers, and it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's not really next gen. But as I say, it does feel familiar, and I like that. So if you're coming from an Xbox One, there's no worries here. You know how to use this controller. It kind of feels almost exactly the same. And the Xbox controller is awesome. I've always enjoyed using the asymmetrical look and the feel on the Xbox, especially during the 360 days, but obviously I understand that's not for everyone. And then there's the PlayStation controller, which is totally new. They've even renamed it from the DualShock controller, which we've known for 4 generations, to the DualSense. And this controller is next gen in both the look and the feel. Even down to the small details as you look around the controller, that you can see the PlayStation icons printed onto it, and it looks and feels great to hold as well. Then you've got the haptic feedback where the controller rumbles and vibrates, and this is as you move over different terrain. It's brilliant, it really, really is. So it's not the typical vibration that we're used to on controllers, this feels a lot more real. Then there's the adaptive triggers as well, and these are really good. So as you're pulling the triggers in, say, Call of Duty for example, the triggers actually adapt as the name suggests, giving that a little bit more resistance. And if you've not got a headset, you can still chat with your mates through the controller as it's got a built-in microphone and a speaker. And unlike the Xbox controller, where you'll either need to purchase a plug and charge kit or use some AA batteries, the PlayStation controller has got a built-in battery, so you just need to use the cable that's supplied and you can charge your controller each night. So you now know what the consoles look like and how the controllers feel. Next is what they look like once they've been turned on. What's the UI, the home screen and the menus and so on. So I guess the same as your mobile, the mobile that you're using right now, you've probably chosen the phone based on the operating system as well as what the physical look of the handset is. So looking at the PS5, they've changed the way that it looks. So as you load it up, the first thing you're greeted with is the new login screen. It looks a lot fresher than it did on the PS4, but this has been a long overdue refresh. I think it looks clean, it looks simple, and it's really quick to load. I really like this. One thing that they have removed though since the PS4 is the folders option, and that's where I would usually group certain games into certain folders. Instead, we're kind of back to a list of games on a home screen. But yeah, overall, I really like the look of this. The menus are nice too, although one issue that I found here is everything that you do compared to the PS4 takes about 3 extra clicks, like putting it into rest mode for example, or leaving a party. So hopefully they will fix this with a simple update in the future, but yeah, it's definitely taken a few extra clicks to complete a simple task. And onto the Xbox, which kind of looks similar to the last gen UI, the Xbox One. Now again, I'm not sure if this is a good or a bad thing. I mean, I liked the old dashboard anyway, so it worked, it looked great, it's familiar, and it's kind of what you're used to. So if you're wanting a new fresh look, something totally different, you won't get that with the new Xbox Series X or the S. But what does anyone else think? Should they have redeveloped or redesigned the interface? Or is the classic, if it ain't broke, why fix it? But one thing that I do like about the dashboard is the ability to change the colours and the style, so you can actually personalise it to your own taste. Now I do like that, that's something that the PlayStation doesn't do, and also on the PlayStation they have removed the option for backgrounds or themes, so I always have the same theme across all of my devices, so it's a shame that they've removed that on the PS5. Moving on to the games, which let's face it, that's the number one reason that you are looking to get a new console. So this is a personal preference really, because most of the games are cross-platform, so take Call of Duty or Need for Speed or Fortnite or GTA 5 and so on. So most of the big multiplayer games, well they are already on both consoles. Other than the odd time-locked exclusive, like on Call of Duty for example, you can really play any game on both consoles. However, there are some brilliant exclusives on both consoles which you can't play on the other. So on the Xbox we've got games like Forza, Halo, Gears 5, Sea of Thieves and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, so fantastic games that you can only play on the Xbox. Then on the PlayStation we've got Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Uncharted, Ghost of Tsushima and God of War, so again really good games. So if you're only interested in playing Forza or God of War for example, well your choice is kind of already made, but they are all awesome games. I guess it just comes down to which games you would rather play or which exclusives that you prefer. But I like both, which is why I have both, so I couldn't miss out on Spider-Man for example, I absolutely love that game. But I also really like Forza, I think that's the best car racing game that's currently out. So again, I need both consoles just to play both of those games. And then there's Game Pass and PlayStation Now, and these are both a monthly subscription that allows you to unlock hundreds and hundreds of games that you can kind of play for free. So Game Pass have also recently added EA Access, so this unlocks all of your Battlefields and your Need for Speed games and so on. But in my opinion, Game Pass is a clear winner, it really is. And the fact that all Xbox exclusives are automatically added to Game Pass on the day that they're released is incredible. So for example, when Halo comes out next year, if you're already paying for Game Pass, well you get to play Halo on the launch day for free. And that means instead of going out and spending $50 or $60 on the game, if you're paying your $10 or $15 a month subscription, you get it for free. So that means Game Pass will cost you about $150 a year roughly, and that's the equivalent of what, 2 or 3 games, and you've already paid for Game Pass. And then you've got PlayStation Now, and by comparison it just isn't as good, it really isn't. And the fact that Game Pass now has EA access as well really is incredible, it sets them apart. So on PlayStation Now, sure you've got more games, you've got hundreds and hundreds of more games, you've got PlayStation 2 games on there and so on, but it's more of a quantity over quality. But overall, Game Pass definitely has it. It's definitely the better option. I pay for Game Pass, but I don't pay for PlayStation Now after the free trials that I've done. Now they both have mobile apps and they both look great, honestly they do. So you can use these apps to view the game store where you can buy and you can download available games straight to your console, so that's awesome. You can also chat with your friends, you can view notifications and so on, so they really are both as good as each other. One thing that the PlayStation app has removed recently, which I really liked, was the What's New feed. And this allowed you to view recent trophies and activities that your friends have been doing online, and I liked seeing that, so it's a shame that they've kind of removed the social aspect of the app. So I was going to do a power and performance comparison of the two consoles, but to be honest, it's been done 1,000 times already. They both look incredible. If you played the same game on both consoles, you would be happy with the results. Don't get hung up on those figures, pick it based on the other factors that I've covered so far today. So they are both really quick, they are both really silent, but there's one feature that the Xbox has over the PlayStation, and that's the quick resume. And this feature is huge. This really is a next-gen feature that both consoles should have, and I love it. The fact is, I even covered this in a separate video that I'm so impressed with it. So what it lets you do is it lets you jump between games without needing to really close them or quit and save. And you can actually jump straight between games rapidly as well. So you can go between Forza, for example, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and within what, 5 or 6 seconds you've closed one game down and you're now straight into the next game, and it will resume from exactly where you left it the last time that you quit the game. So yeah, this is a feature that Xbox wins hands down. It's a really useful feature. I'm really surprised the PlayStation doesn't have it. Maybe it's something they'll add in the future, but yep, Xbox definitely wins with this. Memory wise, the Xbox comes with a 1TB drive and the PlayStation comes with an 825GB drive. Pretty disappointing to be honest, especially going into next gen with less storage that I had on my previous PS4 Pro. Now, we will be able to expand these in the future, which won't be cheap. So at the moment, the Xbox, you're looking at about $250 for 1TB, while the PlayStation at the moment, well, there's no official options available if you want to play your PS5 games. But I would guess maybe a similar price, maybe $250 to $300 for a terabyte. So you can plug an SSD drive into your PS5, but at the moment that only supports your PS4 games, not your PS5 games. So another factor that so many asked about last week, which is quieter, and to be honest, they are both really quiet. If I had to say one, I would probably put it to the Xbox. I think the Xbox is a bit quieter, but only comparing it side by side, you can kind of notice a bit of a pitch difference when the fans are running. So this last point that I wanted to make is about your mates, about your online friends. So it doesn't matter what games are available, it doesn't matter how many teraflops your console has, or if it makes a beep when it boots up. If you play online with your mates, you're likely going to choose the console that you all play online with together. Okay, so the big question, the reason that you're still here, well hopefully some of you are still here, which is my favourite console? Which of the two would I pick? If I had to sell one, which is the one that I would definitely keep? Well, there's a few factors obviously, and I've covered all those today, but I would pick the PlayStation 5, the PS5. For me, it's a clear winner, but that doesn't mean that I dislike the Xbox. Let me make that very clear. I play both consoles. I've got both consoles. I've always played both the Xbox and the PlayStation throughout every generation. But I think the PlayStation is the better of the two this generation, in my opinion, because I think it's got the better controller. It's next gen, it's new, it's just better. So I think the controller alone could be a good enough reason to choose the PlayStation 5. I also think it's got better exclusive that I prefer playing. So take Spider-Man, Sackboy, God of War and The Last of Us. These aren't just the best games on PlayStation, I think these are the best games overall. It's also where my mates are, and as I mentioned before, the social aspect of gaming is really important. And finally, I just prefer it overall. I like the look. Okay, it looks different, it's not minimalist, it's not clean. You could argue it doesn't fit into my setup, but I do really like the look of it. So yeah, if I was to keep just the one of the two consoles, or you ask me which one would I recommend getting, I would say the PlayStation 5. But you won't be disappointed with either console, you really wouldn't be. But I think the PS5 is the better choice. But I will be keeping both, as I keep saying, I am keeping and I am playing on both consoles. But what do you think? Which have you gone for, or which do you think is the clear winner in your eyes, and why? Well, you just made it to the end of another video, so thank you, you know that I appreciate it. If you don't mind dropping a like on this video, whether you're a PlayStation or an Xbox fan, dropping a like on this video will really help me out. And if you drop a PS5 versus Xbox in the comments, I will also give you a thumbs up as well, because I know that you're still here at the end. Well, I hope this video was interesting to you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time.